So I added a power switch to my Chord MScaler, and this is it here in line. It is just a little UL listed switch that you can just turn on and off, because the MScaler doesn't actually have a power switch. I guess it's just made to be on all the time, but I kind of don't like that because the LED stays on all the time. And in standby mode, when it's just sitting there idle, I think it still uses about 8 to 10 watts. And then when it's powered up, I think it uses like 20 watts when it's in use. After I think 10 minutes of it not being in use, it goes into a sleep mode and it's about 8 to 10 watts. But again, the LED still stays on, and I like to be able to fully power stuff off if I want to. So I just added this switch. I'll post a link in the description field for this switch. It's a really simple switch. It's actually made by GE, and it's UL listed. So that's a plus. And it also comes in singles or a 2-pack. I got the 2-pack. And it's actually quite useful because you can use this for other things as well. For anything that you want to add a power switch to, this is very, very useful. So I'm actually using one of these in my kitchen as well, just for like when I go on vacation. I don't want certain things plugged in to the outlet, so I will just put this in line, and then I can flip the switch to turn it on or off when I want to, versus having to actually unplug it. It's kind of a pain to have to keep constantly unplugging things. So this is kind of useful for that, but it can work for pretty much anything, like a lamp or anything that doesn't actually have a built-in switch. So on my cord setup here, I just have an extension cord, just so I can bring the switch up to, an ergonomic level where I can reach it. Otherwise, this would have to be down by the floor or whatever. So I just have an extension cord here, and then I have the Chord MScaler plugged into here, and I can just flip it on and off here when I want to listen. Now another thing that's really nice about the Hugo TT2 is it's actually on right now. But the way that the Hugo TT2 works is if it's not getting an input signal from the MScaler, none of the lights turn on, which is really nice. So it looks like it's off, but if I press this here, you can actually see that it's on. So, and then I can use the remote because I have it on mute. So if you don't have it on mute, the volume indicator light LED will always stay on, but you can just mute it and the lights go off. So that's really nice. The Chord Hugo TT2, I actually like to leave on if I know that I'm going to be doing some listening within 24 hours or so, just so the supercapacitors don't have a on-off cycle and have to have like a thermal, have to like cool down and heat up and cool down and heat up. I like to keep the supercapacitors at a relatively constant temperature, and I think that makes them last longer because it's not having to heat up and cool down repeatedly. So the Hugo TT2 I will generally leave on pretty much all the time if I know I'm going to be listening within the next day or so. If I know I'm not going to listen within the next day or so, I will power it down, like if I'm going on vacation or something like that. But for the most part, the TT2 is on. But the MScaler, I pretty much turn off every time, mainly because in standby mode, the LED light still stays on, and that's really annoying to me. But also for some bit of power savings as well. And the MScaler doesn't have any supercapacitors or anything like that, so it can be safely turned on and off a lot because you're not trying to preserve any supercapacitors in it. The MScaler is pretty much just a power supply and a computer board inside there that's doing all the processing and stuff like that. So it doesn't necessarily have to stay on all the time. And it's also not impervious to like warm up and stuff like that. In terms of the sound quality improving when it warms up. Whereas the TT2, from cold, it takes about 10 minutes to reach optimal sound quality. It's very subtle, but there is some bit of sound quality improvement when the TT2 is cold and then you power it up. So that's another reason why I kind of tend to leave the TT2 on is most of the time. But if I want to turn it off, I can just turn it off either here with the remote or the power switch built in to the TT2. So check the description field below for this little power switch. It comes in different colors, black, white, and gray. It's real cheap as well. It's UL listed, and I kind of highly recommend it for lots of different things around the house. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video.